What could be more wonderful than being here at Tsismis, and it's an incredible Filipino restaurant. And I'm sitting here with Reggie, and I can't pronounce her last name, but she is so beautiful and so hospitable. I love her, and I just met her, but I still love her. So let's talk about the history of the restaurant.
Tsismis started some 3 years ago when my husband, Stephen Young, decided to come up with this project, which was actually in his mind many years ago when he was studying culinary studies at Peter Camp, which is now ICE, International Culinary Education Center. And he wanted to showcase modern Filipino cuisine. And we came to the Lower East Side to do that. We found the space that we wanted to bring out the culture of the Philippines. So we have a modern menu that we tweaked together. We got our chef, Jappy of Silius, to tie up with us. And we also got the beverage director to help us put the menu together to come out with signature cocktails and wine to pair with our food.
How fantastic. You know, it's amazing when you think about the area that you want to be in, something that's hip, something that's modern, and where there's making a big transition, you know. Gentrification, I think, is basically it. And then you're here. It's wonderful. You
Yes.
know, and this area, I remember when it was all sort of schmatas, you know, the garment center with all the rags and the schmatas. And now it's all these restaurants and boutiques, and everyone comes here, and tourists also, because it's all
Yes.
hip and wonderful. And where in the Philippines are you from?
I'm originally from Manila. In the Philippines, actually, there are over 7,100 islands. And it's wonderful for my husband and our team here at Tsismis to be able to showcase some of that culture through the culinary presentations that we have here. And because also New York is, Manhattan, where we are in New York City, is also an island. It's also a melting pot. So we feel it's a perfect combination to have Tsismis out here to showcase what we can do. We have something that is from within our roots and something that also comes from what's available locally in New York State and the region. So it's a melting pot, like food and beverage, everything around the world is sharing. You know, we also, the concept of Tsismis is to bring together people who like to get together, to chat, have a good meal, have some good wine. Mm-hmm. And that's basically what life is all about. You need to enjoy yourselves and toast to life.
Well, you know, New York is a multicultural city, and there's so many different nationalities here. And what we try to show on the Taste of New York is the fact that there are so many different cultures, and people need to be introduced to them, and you just can't go out and have a hamburger or a hot dog, you know. You need to experience the whole thing. And also in the Philippines, you have so much water around the islands, so you have a lot of seafood.
Yes, we do.
Fresh!
Yes. It's different from what we try to do because, of course, we have limitations here. So we showcase two key dishes here. So we have what we call the sinigang, which is we showcase salmon because it's from the region, and it's a tamarind-based soup dish with vegetables. And then we have our the Philippines national fish, which is called bangus or milkfish. So we have this we just have the belly cut. So it's like a special cut, and we have this pan fried, and we serve it with rice and garlic and and vegetables on the side.
What I've discovered is that food, basically, the basic food is all the same around the world, whether it's fish or beef or pork, but it's the way that you prepare it that makes the difference. And I think with all these different condiments and spices and so forth, gives it that signature, I think, of the destination. I think that's fantastic.
We're open for dinner from Tuesday to Sunday, and we have brunch on Saturday and Sunday.
Ah. And then you have happy hour as well.
We have happy hour, which starts when the restaurant opens at 5 o'clock until it closes in the bar all day.
So you're not open for lunch?
Not right now, only brunch, Saturday and Sunday.
Right, and we'll be right back. Jon Haggins, The Globetrotter, is like no other travel book in the world. When I think of travel, I think of friends from around the world. I've traveled to Malaysia, Thailand, India, everywhere. You're going to absolutely love the book, and the recipes. You will whet your appetite with these incredible aromatic recipes. Remember, my world is your world, so get up, get out, and travel. Reggie, tell me about this beautiful art. It's so colorful, and it's from the Philippines, right?
Well, actually, the artist is a young Filipino-American artist. She was born and raised here, and she actually has never been to the Philippines.
Really?
Her name is Jean Halandoni, and she had agreed to showcase her art here. She's a young artist. She gets her inspiration from her family. Her parents are both Filipino-born, and they moved out here many years ago and settled out here. And she gets like all the inspiration from her family and relatives that come and visit her and have taught her about Filipino culture.
Welcome to the Taste of New York. I'm Jon Haggins. I'm here in Tsismis Restaurant with Jaffe, and he is the head chef, and he's going to show these incredible modern Philippine dishes. I'm so excited. This is an introduction that I can't wait to see.
We're very excited to have you guys, and thank you for dropping by. So we're super excited to show you some dishes off our menu. We're gonna be cooking 3 dishes here simultaneously, so we're gonna work around between the 3 dishes. We're gonna start with our beefsteak Tagalog. So obviously we're here in New York, so we're using New York strip. The key technique is to always season well
And
the
tell
steak.
me, what makes this Filipino?
As you will see in the end product later, we do, it's in our country, it's a stewed dish. But since we're in New York, this is our take on a New York steak and potatoes dish.
Oh, good. So salt is the main
Salt
condiment.
is a key ingredient.
Right.
Get the flavors out of the steak, and
Right.
obviously we've been warming up the grill the whole day, so
Right.
we're gonna get it. We're gonna get a good, nice sear to it. Turn it after 3 minutes, so we can start preparing for our second dish, which is going to be called adobong manok, which is the national dish of the Philippines. And it involves a French cut chicken. We're gonna start always by seasoning it, and we're gonna roast it in the oven. Third dish, which is going to be our signature dish here in the restaurant, it's called kale laing,
Right.
which is in our country we use dried taro leaves, but since we are here in New York, we want to incorporate Philippine flavors with local ingredients here. So we've now started using kale, which is phenomenal. Everyone seems to love it. The first step will be to blanch the kale in the salted water. Takes about 90 seconds. It's a necessary step because it takes out a lot of the bitterness to it,
Oh, that's good.
and it makes the kale a little bit more tender. And then we're going to start by firing the wok. So we're gonna give the steak a nice little turn here to get a good mark. And then we're getting the wok nice and warm. Put a little oil. So this ingredient has a lot of key aromatics, most of them indigenous to us. So we have the ginger, bird's eye chili, garlic and shallots. And then we're just going to start sauteing them. We're going to add the bay leaf, some shrimp paste, and give it a nice little saute. So it's garlic, shallots, ginger, bird's eye chili, bay leaf, shrimp paste. The smoked fish adds a lot of depth to the dish, and it binds well with the coconut milk.
Oh, wow.
So as we give this maybe 20 seconds, coconut is a vital ingredient in our
Right.
country. It's quite cheap and very tasty, so it's affordable to every household, and it makes it's one of the key ingredients that makes Southeast Asia unique, comparable to the shrimp paste, to the ginger, and to the smoked fish. And then our kale has been blanched now, and we can go ahead and put it to the wok. We're adding the last key component of the dish, which is the coconut milk, and we're gonna let this stew for about 4 to 5 minutes. See how the colors just bind together?
Oh, yes.
We can let this reduce for a little bit.
And what do you do, a medium steak?
Medium rare,
Yeah.
as every New Yorker orders.
So you can taste it.
Exactly, and New York strip is a great cut, and It's named after New York, so obviously that's what we use.
That's why they named it twice.
Broccoli rabe with some oil and garlic to release the flavor and also reduce the bitterness of the vegetable. I put some garlic here. Just saute it nice. Broccoli rabe and then we're going to flavor it a little bit with a Philippine citrus, which is called calamansi. It's a key component in our cuisine. It's somewhat in between a kumquat and a lime. So it's the size of a kumquat, but it's the color of a lime.
Wow.
Unfortunately, it does not grow here in New York.
So it's not like bitter and sweet like a kumquat?
Yes, it takes the sweetness, but it also takes the pungency of the lime.
Yeah, right.
So it's a very versatile ingredient. You are if you've never been to the Philippines, it's most likely something that you've never tried before. This only takes a second to cook, and as we are Asian, obviously we have to add a little soy sauce to everything. The steak is now ready to go into the oven with the potatoes.
And what's the point of that? Is it keep it warm or?
Yes, so the potatoes are roasted ahead of time and then warmed at the same time with the steak. So when it's serviced, it's quick. And as typical here in New York, steak and potatoes just go together hand in hand.
Of course.
We have our adobo sauce, which goes with the chicken. And then we have our crab fat sauce, which goes to one of our pasta dishes. The other one is our pineapple liver sauce, which goes with one of our appetizers. Normally for us in the Philippines, fried pork is a common pastime.
Okay.
Well, we eat this as an appetizer, whether at the dinner table or you're going to the bar. And the number one sauce that goes with the fried pork is either spiced vinegar or secondly, it's a form of liver sauce. And for us here, we do our own take on it, which is actually pineapple anise liver sauce, which is kind of French flavored in a sense, as I spent some time in Paris also. Let's go check on our kale dish.
That's really reduced.
It's almost getting there. It looks super good. I can smell it. As you know, the chicken is going to take about an hour and 40 minutes in the oven. So I have an express version for you that's ready.
And what is this, a thigh?
This is a thigh and a drumstick that's been French cut.
Okay.
We just roasted this about 30 minutes before you arrived. Very simple. One of our signature dishes here, top selling dishes. And I'm just going to
Put a little sauce in it.
put the adobo sauce in it, which is the key ingredient here, which what gives the dish the magic that it needs.
And it just goes on the chicken.
Just goes on the chicken and a little bit on the vegetables.
Nothing on the rice.
Nothing on the rice. And this is adobong dilaw, the Tsismis version of the national dish of the Philippines. So this is our kailaing. This is the Tsismis version of the popular dish in the Philippines. Instead of using dried taro leaves, we use kale. And we add a little bit of aromatics. And the garnish is also what elevates the dish with the dried shrimp and the crispy garlic, just to balance everything out. It has the perfect amount of umami and perfect amount of savoriness to the dish. The garnishes are normally super quick to make. It's the protein that takes a little bit of a while. And then we're gonna put a little soy sauce to it. Of course. I think the first thing we're gonna do now is get our steak out. Give it like a minute to rest. This is gonna be nice and mid-rare now. and then this should take about 1 more minute. The steak needs to rest for normally like a second before we send it out.
So the dish is really steak and potatoes.
Yes, it's steak and potatoes. It just has...
Sounds very Americano.
Exactly. But when you try the onions on top of it with the soy sauce and the calamansi, as dishes from the east make it out to the west, you realize it's more the cut of beef that's changing most of the time. But the technique, the preparation is in maybe 60-70% the same. Here.
Oh, I love those tiny potatoes.
Marble potatoes.
What do you call those little potatoes?
Marble potatoes.
Marble potatoes, wow.
And would go well on any New York strip steak. The onions on the steak. Onions with the garlic. And
the bouquet is fantastic.
yes, don't forget the sauce. So this is what makes it a Philippine dish.
Right. Chasing Wild Ass. Oh, it's not what you're thinking. It's a narrative of my travel around the world. I have interspersed photos and aromatic recipes, which allows you to dream, discover, and rediscover these great destinations around the world. The title of the book came about while we were chasing jackasses in Kutch Wild Ass Sanctuary in Gujarat, India. And I thought that was a great title for the book. This is food for the soul. Not only does it allow you to dream, it's adventure, it's history, it's culinary, it's culture, with a sense of humor to spice it up. Chasing Wild Ass is a celebration of life. You have to live each day as if it's your last. Remember, my world is your world. So get up, get out, and travel! Well, I'm introducing now Philip, who is the managing director for all of the beverages, and you're going to do a very special cocktail, which is a special of the house, so talk about that.
Hi, my name is Philippe Segura. I'm the beverage director of Tsismis, and I'm going to make for you today a signature cocktail that I create for specifically for the restaurant. It's based with sake because we use only sake as a spirit, and it's my version of a Negroni, but based with sake, and in addition I put also artichoke liquor. So if you like to enjoy it, I'm going to make one for you.
Wonderful!
So we start with a Jumain sake, 2 ounces.
With lots of ice.
Then we have a sweet vermouth from France called the Lillet Red, half ounce. Then we have Aperol, who brings a little bit of bitter of the drink, half ounce as well. Artichoke liquor. Got it. So then we stir that. We add a little bit of Angostura bitter. Voila. Then we're going to drain it to a glass with ice. Little orange, slice of orange on the inside. A little rosemary dipping. Straw. Voila.
Oh my God.
A la vida.
It looks
Means let's
fantastic.
go in the Philippine language.
Oh my God. This is really beautiful. It looks tropical. It's fantastic. So this is your typical drink
That's
from the
one of the
Philippines.
signature cocktail from Tsismis, yes.
I am so curious about Filipino food.
Here's our first dish of the day, our kale laing. It's kale with coconut milk, with ginger, bird's eye chili, and smoked fish and shrimp paste.
This is one of our signature dishes, which our chef Jappy concocted. It's called the kale laing, which was earlier prepared for you. So it's a pika-pika dish that we serve here. Pika-pika meaning it's like a starter dish. So it has fresh kale from local New York organic farms, and it's It was sautéed earlier with all the garlic, the spices, with coconut milk, and then it's topped with dried baby shrimp and garlic. So please enjoy.
I can't wait to taste this combination of all these things. My God. Oh. What a nice surprise. And also what he's done with the kale, he's taken the bitterness out. So it's really refreshing. I love it. Fantastic.
I'm glad. There's a little spice to it. So
I'm feeling it. And I love spice. Except once I was in Malaysia and I had tom yum. And
they're known for really spicy
and someone
food.
said, well, next time I said, if I live. But this is not that spicy, but it's refreshing.
Yeah, just for a little kick.
I gotta have another bite.
Oh,
Oh my God, this is really terrific.
and it's perfect with your drink.
The sangria. To cool it off.
La chismosa. So you're having La Chismosa, which is our signature cocktail version of sangria. And here in Tsismis, we use sake because we're only allowed to serve wine, beer, and sake in the restaurant. And Philippe, who's our beverage and service director, has concocted all our drinks with sake.
How original. That's wonderful. It's also refreshing after having this, which has a little spice, and this refreshes the taste.
Yes,
great.
it's perfect with the kale laing.
I love it.
This is our second dish of the day, our adobong dilaw, which is chicken in soy sauce and turmeric sauce. Enjoy.
Reggie, why the spoon?
Well, in the Philippines, we normally eat our meals. Our main meals usually has rice. So we use a spoon and fork because we usually mix together the meat or the fish dish with the vegetables into the rice, and then that's how we eat our meals. Normally here in the Western world, it's just a fork and a knife, but that's why we always put a spoon in.
Well, I'm going to pretend that I'm in the Philippines
Yes.
and I'm going to try it. And you also mix the sauce with it as well?
Yes, the sauce and part of the meat and the vegetables together.
No, just sticky rice?
No, this is just jasmine rice, and then it has a little garlic on it and some garnishing.
Very, very nice.
This way, when you spoon it in your mouth, you get all the flavors together.
It's very, very, very nice. What do you call this dish?
This is our adobong dilaw, which is, as Jappy mentioned to you earlier, it's a signature dish here in Tsismis. It's his version of adobo, which comes also a recipe that he has from his roots down in Dumaguete in the south. Adobo is a national dish in the Philippines, but everybody has their version of adobo. So there are different types of adobo all over the Philippines.
So is there a difference in the cuisine from the north to the south?
Yes, there's quite a difference because the Philippines has over 7,100 islands, and it's a group of, we have 3 archipelagos of islands. So there are many variations depending on which province you come. Some provinces in the north are mild, some have spicy food. In the south, we also have a lot of roots from the Spaniards because the Philippines was under Spain for almost 400 years. So we have a lot of influences also from Spanish Mediterranean cuisine. And of course, the Chinese traders came, and the Dutch, and the Portuguese, and the Americans,
and the Marcos.
and the Japanese.
Well, you know, that's really great because it really sort of, what do you call it, combines all of this and makes a very special dish, special cuisine, I guess, from the region, which I think is fantastic. Or I should say the region, from the country.
The island, yes, the islands.
Because all the different islands, as you say, have a different,
Yes.
their specialty is something different.
Yes, each island has their own special dishes. Also, they have their own type of seafood, the way they cook pork and raw food, and we also have variations in vegetation and fruits also, and rice and bananas. We have over 100 varieties of bananas in the Philippines.
And do you have mangoes as well?
Oh, mangoes. The best mangoes in the world come from the
Really?
Philippines, in Cebu, in the south.
Yeah. And do you also do a lot of cooking outdoors?
We do a lot. We call our version of barbecue. We call it inihaw. So some of the dishes we serve in Tsismis is our version of inihaw. We have our liempo, which is the pork belly, and that's marinated, and we grill it here, and we also serve it here. And then we also have a fried version that's used for, it's in our pika-pika, our appetizer. So the Filipinos love pork also.
Oh, I would think so. Plus, it has great flavor,
Yeah.
especially where the fatty part is.
Yes.
With all the flavor, which I think is fantastic.
And we have different sauce to dip it into.
Yeah. And all homemade.
Yes,
You
from
know.
scratch.
Because in the kitchen, you had like 4 different sauces that were homemade by different people. Or I should say, made by different people rather than
Yes.
homemade. Because it's a restaurant, so it's not homemade.
Yeah. Made in the restaurant.
Yes.
Made in Tsismis.
Exactly.
Well, John, we have another dish for you, our last dish, which is the beefsteak Tagalog, which Jappy prepared for you. So are you ready for that?
I'm always ready.
This is our third dish of the day, beefsteak Tagalog, our version of New York steak and potatoes, but Philippine style. Enjoy.
Well, here you have the beefsteak Tagalog, John, and as Jappy had prepared for you earlier. So it's New York strip cut, and it's been seared in the grill, and then with the roasted baby potatoes, and then it's topped with sautéed caramelized onions, and the sauce we have is our mixture of our beefsteak Tagalog sauce, which is soy sauce with a little calamansi, salt and pepper to flavor, and that's it. Enjoy.
You know, it's very simple when you think about just salt and pepper and some onions, a little sauce here and there. It's so simple. And the potatoes, you can't go wrong with that. And these are like new potatoes. That's what we call them here.
Well, I'm sure you'll enjoy it.
Thank you. I can't wait. You'd notice I went for the potato first. I think this is something that I could make at home. And this it's a very nice dish. I'm thinking of with the onion as an accent, which is, I'm chewing and talking. My mother once told me, don't talk with food in your mouth. But here I can't help it. Everything is so delicious. Very nice. Very nice indeed. I thank you for such a great experience. I feel like I'm in the Philippines. And I can't wait to come back. It's going to be absolutely wonderful to just sit and relax and enjoy the moment, you know. And I'm Jon Haggins from the Taste of New York. So long for now. See you next week.
Sa